talking about Donald Trump.
Yep.
Because I emmed you earlier that day reminding you about or you probably may not have forgotten about his taking out the ad in the New York Times about the
yes, the Central Park Five. Yes.
Yeah, him calling for the death penalty to be brought back. I was wondering if those two were related. If that my I am is what caused you to say that on his show last week.
It very well could have been. I mean, I definitely remember when he did it. And I think that came up in oh God, I can't even remember the guy's name now. The movie about it, but I think it was in the forefront of my mind because you had mentioned it. So I appreciate that.
Well, just FYI, I didn't see on the internet where anyone called you out on it. You stated it was $500,000 when it was actually 85,000.
Well, I mean, you know, the cost of the ad, I think, is sort of irrelevant at the end of the day.
Yeah, just a minor.
Yeah, half a page is a half a page. I imagine in today's dollars, it would be close to $500,000.
Exactly.
Or but, with the way the print is gone, maybe 40,000. Who knows?
Thank you just for reminding him about my pet peeve with him. I think anyone who lacks the wisdom to see that they were innocent and had nothing to do with that woman being raped doesn't deserve to be president.
Well,
and him doubling down on it on Twitter.
I think the idea, though. I mean, look, it regardless of whether or not one had the ability to know from afar whether these guys were innocent or guilty. And I don't know that if you and I were there contemporaneously, I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. I really have no idea of how to say that. I mean, clearly the cops knew what was going on in terms of how they were coercing these kids. But the idea, and Trump was pissed about the payoff by de Blasio. I guess he just felt, sort of couldn't get over it. But the idea that one would be that bloodthirsty, it gives you a sense of what this guy, the dynamic is with this guy, right? Is that he is, in his own way, nothing but a demagogue. Now, but the irony is that if he was a politician at the time, his behavior would have been almost identical. It just would have manifested itself in a different way because he would have been a politician as opposed to a businessman. Right? I mean, so, well, I mean, that is, I think that's what is telling about is that he was sort of cheering on and, sort of building on the fear and the emotional impulse of people in that way and was exploiting it.
I think I see it a little bit differently. You just remember the fact of the case is that when they were convicted, it was known that none of their sperm matched the sperm that was found in the victim. So at this point, when a convicted serial rapist who's in prison gets religion and says, I did it, it was my sperm they found in her, and they had nothing to do with it, a DNA test is run and confirms at least that it was his sperm found in the victim. Donald Trump doesn't have the wisdom to say, okay, I was wrong, they were innocent.
Well,
That's just as bad on a smaller scale, but on the wisdom scale, when you measure the man's wisdom, his fitness for office, I think that's just as bad as saying that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
I guess. I mean, I don't know how you draw that. It's apples and oranges on some level. I'm not in any way justifying Donald Trump's actions. I can tell you. I just don't know. They're still convicted, right? I mean, they're still convicted by a court where ostensibly there's supposed to be a jury, and there's supposed to be a legitimate prosecutor. So I don't know. Nevertheless, I think there's a lot of things that disqualify Donald Trump from being not a legitimate candidate, but someone I would ever vote for president. But I can also say the same thing about every other Republican, frankly. So that's my point.
I agree with every word of that, but I think that's the primary reason why I hate the bastard. He really is an odious person, and
I agree with you.
I just think I don't think he would have done that to white people, for one thing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, it's just not everybody's going to share exactly your reason for disliking Donald Trump, but I think there's something there. But I appreciate it.